Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on what part of the world you are watching from. Welcome back to the West Ham Network. This is your weekender, you could call it. Yes, it's Saturday morning. You are watching this video, and I hope you do enjoy it. Please hit the thumbs up. Please leave a comment, give us your feedback as well. If you're interested in becoming a channel member, click on the join option. If you haven't subscribed, of course, hit the subscribe button. We're on a march towards 20,000 subscribers before the end of the year. And we are going to get there, I believe, and I trust in the process. But loads of stories have been breaking out of West Ham. You've got your reliable ex-WHU employee, and you've got a few other people reporting on the story that I'm going to talk to you about as well. So let me break the news to you if you haven't already seen it. And it might be the case of adding 2 and 2 and getting a completely different result than 4. However, there does seem to be some legs on the story that I'm about to mention to you from both Roma and West Ham, that there could potentially be a swap deal in the offing between both clubs involving, get me here, Gianluca Scamacca, the player who's on topic of conversation with all West Ham fans right now, and Tammy Abraham, the English centre-forward. Now, we all know Scamacca has endured a torrid time so far in England, and Tammy, has fallen out of favour at Roma and is also longing, apparently, for a return to the Premier League, having experienced his tenure in Italian culture under Jose Mourinho at Roma. Now, there would be some form of financial adjustment if the deal was to be done due to Roma's £40 million valuation on Tammy, the ex-Chelsea striker, and a deal would value Scamacca at around £35 million, according to reports. So the difference in valuations would not be a deal breaker in the slightest, something they can get over, no problem at all. But would it be good for West Ham? There are many a West Ham fan who have said that the situation with Scamacca, having his injuries, and maybe we should now use the bidding in season and see if we're going to get a rejuvenated Scamacca this season. Stick by him, see what he can do. He's had his bidding in period, and this is what they should do. And then you've got other fans that have said that he's just simply not suited to Premier League football. Abraham, however, could slot straight into the West Ham team if he was given enough game time. Scamacca could walk into the Roma team and be welcomed with open arms because he knows the Italian league so well. A lot depends on who's going to be in charge of what at both clubs, as each are in the process of assessing how to move forward. You can clearly see that, having already been severely damaged by the Sebastian Haller transfer and also the abundance of striker transfers. After that, West Ham will be keen to avoid a repeat and may well see a swap deal, the best way to recoup any potential loss. It could make business sense for West Ham and for Roma, and the fans would really feel the only reason Scamacca wants to return to Italy could be down to the fact that David Moyes doesn't want to change his stubborn approach to how he sets his team up. Big Mickey Antonio is well on the wrong side of 30, and he'll obviously need replacing at some point in the future, so the club must avoid a situation where they're totally reliant on the big man Antonio up top. That's what we cannot afford to do for the entire season, considering his fitness levels can peak and trough as well. But exchange deals are loved by many of the owners of clubs, especially when they factor in, the smoke and mirrors of manipulating the end of the year accounts. That could be something to look in for it. But unfortunately, West Ham's lack of resources would be able to potentially keep a player like Scamacca and bring in another top striker to the club, unless they were going to play as a man to benefit Scamacca, not like for like. And especially the fact that you're living in the world of the player being the top dog. And you can see by Antonio's comments coming out recently that, maybe he doesn't like it so much when someone comes in and challenges his position. A difficult conundrum to solve, but things could work out well. But then again, there is no guarantee that Tammy Abraham would want to move to West Ham and may feel that he should be playing for a bigger club. Only time will tell, but the striker situation has to be resolved well before the start of the new season, and that is the key element. It has to be sorted immediately once this season is done. Now, what could Tammy Abraham bring to West Ham? He is a perfect all-round modern centre-forward, playing as a target man due to his height in his early days when he was at Swansea and Aston Villa. He also played as a more complete centre-forward when he was at Chelsea, and recently as he plays for in Italy for Roma. But using his hold-up play and his link-up play, he manages to get more involved in a build-up style of football, generally regarded as a very efficient striker. He takes high-quality shots from good areas of the park, scoring most of them in short. He can also score from very few chances. He's mostly positioned between the two centre-backs, acting as a main target man and to get onto the end of crosses, although he gets caught offside quite a lot of times while playing on the shoulder of the last defender. It's certainly reduced as he gets better with his understanding of the game. He is still a young lad. Now, when he was under Frank Lampard at Chelsea, we could see Chelsea were overloading the wings to draw position players, and then that was isolating Tammy in space between the defenders to use his heading abilities. Mourinho at Roma has also adapted to a similar approach. And at Roma, Tammy has certainly stepped it up. His all-round play being better than ever. His hold-up play means he can play balls to the inside forwards. And his strong heading ability means that he's also present at the end of crosses by wing-backs. In short, he is a menace of a striker. And you never really know what he is going to do. So there's an element of unpredictability. But he also, in short, he is a former Premier League player. He knows the Premier League inside out. And Scamacca does know Serie A inside out. So this one is something to watch. It's very clear. It's very early days. It's very clear you're hearing stories here, there, and everywhere. It's very clear that West Ham are exploring all options, but also will be who will be exploring options will be Roma. Now, it's fine to say we don't know who's going to be in charge of West Ham come the summer. Does that affect any of the deals that potentially could get done behind the scenes? Absolutely not. Because let's not beat about the bush here. We all know who's in charge and who signs off things in the final nail when it has been discussed. So something to watch. I think this could grow arms and legs. We're not necessarily saying it's a done deal by no means. I'm just saying to you that this is a deal that I could see West Ham potentially looking at. But the other key factor is, would Tammy Abraham want to come and play at West Ham? So many key factors we need to look at is who is going to be in charge of West Ham? Who is going to be in charge of Roma? Where will West Ham be playing? Will we be playing just in the Premier League, or will we also be playing Europa League football? Because if we go ahead and win the Conference League, then we've got guaranteed Europa League football next year, and that could be a big pull for players. And also, who is going to be the owners, the management, you name it. There's so many factors we need to take into consideration. I suppose you could say before we decide on who we're bringing in. It contradicts the point I made earlier on, because David Sullivan knows who he's going to be doing and what he's going to be doing moving forward. Tammy, I do like, but I feel like I'm bedded in with Scamacca. I feel like I want Scamacca to be improved. I do believe at some point earlier in the season, West Ham were trying to adjust to a new style of play. It didn't work, and they resorted back to the old-fashioned get the results, drip feed them over the line. That's what pisses fans off. If it is going to be Moyes next season, he can't play the same mundane football. He can't, because he'll lose the fan base very early. I know he's lost a lot of the fan base just now, but he will lose the fan base dramatically, all of them very early, even if he goes ahead and wins the Europa Conference League. But we need to change our style of play. We need to give something more back to the fans. We need to go at teams, because I feel like there has been occasions this year that we could have gone at teams and could have got something from the game when we either drew or lost. However, we are safe. However, we are in a European final. What do you think? Would you take Tammy Abraham over Scamacca? Would you do a quick swap deal? Let me know in the comments, as we will bring you some more content coming out for the rest of the day as well. Enjoy your weekend and get yourself ready, of course, for Prague. Come on, you unbelievable Irons.